Hi, it's TR back with another RV how-to video, and today I'm going to be installing a residential fridge in my RV. Yeah, don't let this project overwhelm you. It's not all that difficult, and I'm going to show you that in this video. But first I want to say this is a recut. This project was my very first RV how-to video, and I put it out in 3 episodes, and it lasted like 60 minutes. And I'd had a lot of requests to do a summary video, and so I'm going to go ahead and do that, but we'll walk you through this project from start to finish. I'll say right now, I have absolutely no regrets I did this project. It was one of the best things I ever did for my RV. I think the biggest trick is just finding a fridge that fits the hole that you have. So you have to do a minimal amount of modifications, like I did here. It turned out pretty good. The only thing I had to do was relocate a drain line, an electrical outlet, and tap into the water supply. But I'll show you all that in this video. Since this was my first RV how-to video, some of the camera angles aren't the best. Some of the exposures are pretty rough. I've tried to clean up a lot of that. And I also lost the very first part of this video footage somewhere, and that's where I was disconnecting stuff outside. That would be the gas line, and I'm showing you a picture here of the back of the fridge and where the gas line connects. Here's a little better angle. So all you have to do is turn your propane off, and then what I'd recommend is you go back in and light your stove and let it burn all the propane off out of the gas lines. That'll help drain any extra propane off. And then you can go and disconnect the propane from the fridge. The electrical is super easy as well. First thing you want to do is on the 12 volt side, you want to go find the fuse for your fridge and pull that fuse out. You won't be using it in the future. So now we're just going to pick it up with me starting to take the fridge out. So anyway, here's flange right here. There was 4 screws in there. I've taken those out. And I've taken out the screws here. So basically this thing's ready to slide out. Newmar gives us this little vent cover here, which I already snapped off, but it just clips on. I got a thought about, I want to protect those floors, so I happen to have this piece of plywood, which will catch the bottom of that, because there's a flange on there, and that could maybe cause a little bit of heartburn. Well, I'm sitting here trying to build up the courage to do this. I know that bottom's going to slide out like that. Worked out better than I thought. So I'm going to pull this captain's chair out. That's the passenger one. And then I'm going to pull that handrail off you see over there. See how much work it's going to be to get this out. Basically the shelf removed. So what I've got to get taken care of today is I got to move this drain line. I'm going to route this drain line out and around this way and then back into that. And then I'm going to go ahead and move those water lines, although I think I could probably get by without it. We'll see. Once I get that drain line moved, then I'll take a look at the water lines. I bought parts to do it because I'm so far from Home Depot. And then I bought some foam to fill those holes. No, I knew about this, but if you look right here, you can see that at some point that old unit had just about caught the coach on fire. In fact, it did catch on fire a little bit. It's pretty ashed out back up in there. A little quick catch up here. I pulled out this gas line. I think you can see it right there. There we go. The gas line. I put this brass cap on it. You see it there. And leak tested it, and it was okay. I put a little soapy water on it. Here's the old gas line. I'll be cutting that off here, or pulling it through, or something here in the next little bit. So what's next is I've got to move this electrical outlet. That, and I'm ready for a shelf. Installed this block, and I installed this block. So what I'm showing you here is that I bought this real thin tin from Home Depot. It's like 14 or 16 gauge tin, and I just glued it to the bottom of the shelf with some Super 77 adhesive spray, and then I just taped that front edge there because that was a bit of a ragged edge, and I was worried that if you were reaching under there to work on the utilities, you could cut your hand. No. Hey, well, good morning everybody, and so here we are expecting the fridge to be delivered today, and I'm gonna fill this hole with some of this formula, whatever that is. Okay, I got it from Home Depot in 2x2 sheets because that's really all I needed. And anyway, so I'll patch this hole up. pretty much, I think, ready to go here. As you can see, I've got the shelf in. I cut out that little slot back there to give it some relief for those 2 plumbing pipes. I can't imagine that's going to be much of a problem anyway. Up there, right here is the electrical. Again, we saw that installed yesterday. What I've done today is I packed that hole that had burned into the roof full of spray foam, and then I also packed this old vent full of foam. There's 2 layers of that purple foam in there, and then I foamed the seams and everything around that. You can kind of see the foaming is kind of squeezing out around that, and that's what I really wanted. I'll get up on top tomorrow and I'll silicone that from the top, and then we should be good. There's a rainproof cover on that anyway, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. But I'm going to have to adjust this little louver panel here thing. That's just to let air into the furnace, and it's much taller than it needs to be. So since we're waiting for the fridge to be delivered, we might as well finish up the electrical work. First thing I wanted to show you though was in there, I think you can probably see that, on the left side, second from the bottom, is the refrigerator fuse. I just pulled that out permanently for now. What we got here is on the left is the inverter panel, and you can see I have an open breaker there. And then over here on the right is the main breaker panel. That's the pedestal power or the surface power. You can see that right now I have the refrigerator breaker turned off, and we're going to pop that puppy open, and we're going to move that refrigerator circuit over to that open slot there. Let's kill the inverter because it will be running. There we go. Let's go kill the pedestal. And the wire's even long enough. That's an excellent thing. Okay, so top there, if you look real close, you can see there's a little widget there that holds those wires in tight. Alright, well, let's smoke test it and see what we got. We're back on inverter. Anyway, turned out pretty good. Pretty happy with it. Okay, so your mileage may vary, but it really wasn't all that difficult, as you saw. What you've got total time here is probably a day and a half. I won't go into all of the pain and hate and discontent it took to get Home Depot to install it correct, or to get people out here to help put it in. But that's beside the point. I think you'll be as happy with your install as I'm going to be with this one. I think there is a couple things I might want to point out real quick. I've got this little gap here on the side. I knew I'd have that because it's actually the opening was slightly larger. I don't have much gap on this side, so I think I'll slide it over a little bit in the hull. Turned out really well. Got a nice gap up there in the top. If you look clear to the back there, you can kind of see that's there's still a little bit of air gap over the top of that, so I'm really happy with that. There's a ton of space. It's just amazing how much space is in here. Somebody in the park, he said, well, you don't have water in the door. I says, well, yes I do. But what I like about it is the shelves are clear, the bins are clear, it's got this movable fresh box thing. That's been pretty handy. It's got the gallon size widgets in the door. The shelves in the door are gallon size, so you can put a gallon of milk in there. It does have an ice maker. It's working pretty good. This nice shelf here, plenty of freezing storage. But now let's take a minute here and let's see if we can see how this install turned out. Oh yeah, that's going to be perfect. Alright, so if you look right there, there's the front wheels. And if you see, and I think you can just barely see, that wheel is sitting down in this gap that I left here. You can see my fingers here. And then you notice there's a gap right here. So you can see me stick my fingers in there. Yeah, you can see that gap. But anyway, let's look at the finished install under here. Okay. There's that. Everything's good. There's the water makeup. There's something I want to point out here in the way I mounted this louver, because I'm using it to hold the fridge in the hole. What I did was when I remounted the louver, I crowded it up above the face of the shelf, and so it's holding the wheels in that slot, as well as the two little pads there the feet are sitting on, help it keep it from tipping. But overall it won't tip because the clearance at the top is so tight that it couldn't tip out. So all I had to do was prevent it from rattling out as you bump down the road, and lifting that louver did that perfectly. Here's a little update on the Samsung RF18 residential fridge install I did in my Newmar Dutch Star. Once I kind of got the doors loaded up, and particularly like I put a 6-pack of beer in the one of the gallon milk, or the gallon size shelves, and as I was driving down the road and was making some corners, I could hear the fridge doors opening and closing. So that wasn't such a good thing. And so my remedy for that is just basically I've got a long golf towel here, and I just basically give it a knot. So I've read online that some people have used childproof fridge keepers and stuff like that. I just haven't been anywhere where I could pick one of those up, so that's what I've been doing. Then also, as I was headed into much more twisty, windy roads, like I was headed into Deadwood, South Dakota, as a matter of fact, and that road was really twisty and windy, the freezer started opening and closing, and the latch wouldn't hold it. So I ended up with a bungee system, and I'm going to start bungeeing this door closed. And basically all I've done is installed a couple of hooks, or a couple of hooks and a bungee about the right length, and it seems to be, it holds it closed. So as I mentioned in the intro, this project looks overwhelming, but it really isn't. Now, I got lucky that my fridge fit through my door. You might find a different situation. I know many cases where people have had to remove windows to get fridges in, hire forklifts and glass companies to come out and remove front windshields and those sorts of things. And it can be done. I got lucky, no doubt about it. As I mentioned in the intro, I have absolutely no regrets I put this fridge in. It was so nice to have ice and all of that space. It really changed my experience, particularly as a full-timer in my RV. So if you found value in this video, I'd appreciate that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed, and ring the notification bell so you get notified when new videos go up. Your support of my channel through my Amazon store is also greatly appreciated. There's a link in the description below. Remember, as an Amazon affiliate, you pay the same price, but I get a very small commission. And you should visit my website at trbolin.com. There's lots of RV how-to content, as well as photography and some of my other interests you'll find over there on trbolin.com. But for now, it's time to go. Thanks for watching. I sure do appreciate it. Until we get together for another RV how-to video, peace.